Hello and welcome to Do You Remembaer, an ongoing video series where every week I take a look at an article online and do my best to remember that article and then talk to you about it from my memory. And then in the comments, you can let me know what I got right and what I got wrong. And you can make a suggestion of something you'd like to see in the future. I often have an image, usually right around here. I don't have that this time because there was no image and I could not think of an image to associate with the Wikipedia page for a list of diss tracks. That's right. It's not the article about diss tracks. It is the Wikipedia list of diss tracks. This was going around a little bit on Twitter, and I was like, oh, I want to read that and research it. Now, do you think this should all be hip hop? And there is some hip hop. But hip hop diss tracks don't really start until 1980 something or other. I think 85 maybe. With Salt and Peppa, writing about Dougie Fresh and Slick Rick. And that's like the first example in this list. Now, this is obviously probably not going to be complete. And we'll talk about a little subsection of the list as well. But certainly a lot of hip hop. But obviously, there are songs before that, like You're So Vain by Carly Simon's in there, about Warren Beatty, because it wasn't until the 2000s that she was like, it's about Warren Beatty. A wide variety of songs, like, we love bad investments from our manager. There's a Queen song that's a diss track. Like former members of the Beatles wrote diss tracks back and forth at one another because of course they did. There's there are a ton of them about somebody running for president, and so we got the Dead Kennedys wrote a diss track about that. Jerry Brown, I want to say. But hey, let me just talk about this. What's the first recorded diss track on this list? Well, it's from the 1700s, and it's a little tune called Yankee Doodle Dandy. Yes, the song Yankee Doodle Dandy was sung by British troops, and it was, of course, an insult to colonials in the French and Indian War. And then eventually, Americans were like, actually, that song rules, because, yeah, we're Yankee Doodle Dandies, what of it? And then it's a positive song. I don't believe that the Nazi leadership took Hitler Only Has One Ball as I don't think eventually they turned it in as like a pro-Nazi song. It is, again, sung by British troops about various high-ranking Nazis and the size and number of balls that they may have had. And apparently it was done partially to kind of separate the idea of Nazis and Germans, which seems forward thinking at the time, and also like, well, everybody it's all Germans. I don't know exactly what I'm saying right there, but like I understand, but also whatever. And then you get, of course, the idea of the size and number, thinking about genitals and focusing on genitals as far as manhood. That's awful, obviously. But yeah, other ones I wanted to mention. Of course, once we get into hip hop, you've got everything from like Jay-Z and Nas going back and forth, Eminem, of course, various people in the NWA going at, or former members of the NWA going back and forth. What was one that was fun? Technically, you can say that Killer Mike's song about Reagan is a diss track. I guess that's listed, and I guess that's cool. Are there other diss tracks that I want to mention? I talked about the early examples. I talked about the modern ones. Of course, your hip hop. The most recent on the list. I don't know if this is the most recent one that exists as a diss track, but this is the most recent one put on this list. Is Lil Nas X wrote a song about the black. Wrote a song about BET Awards and BET as a whole entity that he released 2 days before the BET Awards and had a billboard across the street from the venue. And it's basically about how this is a diss track that he's just like, hey, I didn't get nominated, so here's your track about how I'm mad at you. Where the party at? No, it's something like that. I can't remember exactly what it is. It's got party in it. I don't remember. One thing I should say is the list of diss tracks separates but includes YouTube diss tracks. And I didn't. I try to stay out of that part of YouTube. So I look. Did I know that Logan Paul and Jake Paul and KS1, not KRS1, KS1 have diss tracks about each other? Yes. Do I know? Did I know that PewDiePie had a diss track about like the one group that got more subscribers on YouTube than him? Yes. Did I know there's two of them? Because there's also one about another group that did that? No, I didn't know that. Did I know that Logan Paul and Jake Paul have diss tracks about each other and they're each other's fan bases that are clearly, like, without even listening to them, obviously a work and not. There's no. That was just for publicity. Sure, I didn't know about those. Now I know. Do I feel worse about it? Yes. I believe there's a diss track about like the YouTube year end, when they do those things where they do a wrap up of the year because someone didn't get mentioned in it. So they did a diss track about YouTube on YouTube. That's not as good. All of it's bad and unnecessary, and I don't know why I'm even bringing it up. It's late to the party, not where the party at. It's late to the party because BET is late to the party on acknowledging Lil Nas X. I don't know. Anyway, all of it's terrible and all of it's bad. And on the YouTube side of it, and the music side of it, sometimes you just want to sing a song about how somebody's awful from your life, and I get that. There's a lot of obviously misogyny involved in some of the diss tracks between rappers, and some of it is contrived, and some of it is real, and that's fine. But that is the page uh, list of diss tracks. And it's in the show description below, the link to it, so you can go take a look yourself. And let me know in the comments if are they big diss tracks I didn't mention that I should have. There's a lot of them, obviously. I don't even know if I mentioned LL Cool J. LL Cool J wrote a lot of diss tracks. Good on him. But yeah, let me know if there's any that I neglected, or if there's something that really stood out for you, and you're like, oh, is that actually a diss track? Okay. Would love to hear from you. And if you have ideas of things I should do in the future, things I should cover, Wikipedia pages or articles somewhere else, you can leave a comment with a link, and I'll check those out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.